All right, so we're going to talk about a deal that we did for a broker from a brokerage. So he's a high producing broker on the residential side, and so he has quite a lot of commercial clients. And then so this is one of his longtime clients who owns a paddleboard business out here in BC. And with the paddleboard business, I think a challenge for him, well, I guess he had an opportunity to expand. So he was doing pretty well. He's been in operations for, I'll say, 4 or 5 years, and he has one location where he's renting out of, and demand has been increasing. So he felt he needed another location to grow the business, and so he found a retail unit which he put an offer on, and then he went to his bank first. Which bank did he go to in this one?
He went to TD, which is his home bank,
Oh, right.
and surprisingly to himself, they only offered him 70% financing. And he was actually very, very disappointed. That's why he started looking around for a broker.
And then
He
he
needed at
only
least
had
80,
enough money for like he needed at least 80% to
at
make this
least
work.
80% to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So he had
otherwise he cannot
20%
buy
down.
it.
Yeah, he had
Yeah,
20%
yeah,
down. So yeah, so he was kind of, I guess in this situation, he was going to either go, even private can't go higher than 75%, 80,
no,
75%.
no,
So yeah, so plan A would have been TD. His plan B would have been private lending, which would not even solve the problem because the most they can do is 75%. So he needed a loan that was very high leverage. So that would be a classic business loan situation here. And so his business, we looked at it. His actually one kicker was his financials weren't done.
yeah,
We had to get his accountant to do it, which took about 3 weeks, 3 weeks, I think. So that was a bit of a delay. So we needed the subject removal to be extended quite far. So we got the financials, but during that time, we had to look around. And I think another challenge, just similar to that surf school, is the paddleboard business is also very seasonal too. Peak season is usually April to September, maybe sometimes April to May, August, depends on the weather. But again, seasonality, and I think we did this deal, was it last year? Just last year? Like,
it was last year,
yeah, about six,
and
7 months ago, yeah.
and then most of the banks were actually asking for projections with the new business.
Yeah.
And our plan wasn't the best with Excel, so we actually had to kind of assist him in helping him get that ball rolling
His
as well.
original was he
Yeah,
used ChatGPT to
yeah,
send us, and it just didn't look right, I think.
yeah,
So he
yeah,
tried it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But he wasn't very good at Excel, so I had to get him on the phone, and I had to kind of understand, some of his assumptions and expected sales, and then, all that stuff. So we had to like kind of help him model it because he's not very good at Excel. So we actually were able to provide the service to get this deal to the finish line, which was
Typically, it
not
would
everyone
come
can do.
prepared. Yeah,
Yeah,
typically we would have it
yeah,
already from the accountant or something. But this
yeah,
one we had to kind of roll up our sleeves a little bit more,
yeah,
understand the business, understand how paddleboards are like the profit
yeah,
margin, who he sells to, during the down season, how does he make money? Like how does he, stay afloat? So those are all the things that I think why this deal was tough. And I can see why is that when he talked to his TD banker, either he didn't explain it well enough, or the banker didn't maybe invested enough time to kind of understand the business. It could be a combination of both. It could be either or, but that's why I think they narrowed down to 70% financing. This one took a lot of work at the upfront for sure to get to understand the business. And we knew like with what was going on that time with tariffs too, played a factor because he's getting his paddleboards from China, I think, right? So
yeah,
he's getting from Asia, China, and there's a lot of just in between. He sells to the U.S. and stuff too. So there was a lot of moving parts to this deal. So I think there was a few risk factors, and so in the end, I think we were able to find a lender that's willing and motivated and like the deal. I think that's the key words there, right? Like you have to be, the lender has to be excited to take on the deal, right? Just because the bank's there does not mean they can lend to anyone they like. They lend to who they want to, and if they like to lend to them. So that's a big thing that people don't understand is that it's a relationship. They don't have to lend to you just because you presented some financial statements. You have to sell a compelling story enough for them to want you as a client. And I think that's what we did there was motivating the banker that this is a good deal. It's a good long-term deal that would ensure profitability for the bank. It's a win-win for both sides of the world, right?
yeah. We really sold the business, and we
Yeah.
really sold the superior location of the new location
This was
compared to
in
even the old
White
location.
Rock, BC,
That's
great
correct.
location.
Yeah. So it's actually a really good location, and the numbers are actually conservative, to be honest, the way we did it. But this location's way superior to the other one.
Yeah,
And we kind of put similar numbers to the old location,
yeah.
which was obviously a
This
little
one had
further
better foot
inland.
traffic too, I
Yeah,
think,
a lot
right?
of foot traffic as well, and
Yeah.
especially in the summer. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, so no, this is one of those where we made it possible, and that allowed actually that 90% meant he was able to preserve a bit more capital for for for
For
the
the
business, right?
renovations for as well
Renovations.
for the new
Yeah.
location.
And
Yeah.
buying inventory, that's another heavy cost. So how
Yeah.
it works in this industry here is that the paddle boards, he actually has to buy the inventory ahead of time. So during the slow season, he's spending
He
money
has to hold
and
it.
there's no
Yeah, he has
revenue,
to hold it.
and he has
Yeah.
to hold it, right?
Yeah.
So like from October to March, he's loading up the inventory. That's all the sunk cost there. He's spending it, and then he would sell it in the peak
In the high
season.
seasons. Yeah, in the
Yeah,
high
so
seasons.
it is a very, like I would say from a banker standpoint, you're looking at the volatility of it, right? But I think overall it's a great business model. He's been doing it for a long time. He's got his supply chain in check. He's got the right relationships. And so yeah, that's how we got this deal done. And now he gets to own his own space, and eventually he can get rid of the first location, not pay rent, right? Or if the business does better, he can buy a second location so that he'll own two locations instead of renting one, owning one, right? So the opportunity is there to set them up for the future for growth. I think it's the most important thing. So yeah, another win-win for the client there.